My name is Mara. I am 42 years old, a mother, an overthinker, and a woman who believed she had already lived the part of her life where surprises happened. My world had flattened into a safe, predictable routine. My days were shaped by coffee, the school schedule, and the endless list of small responsibilities that kept my house from falling apart. I had stopped expecting anything new, anything thrilling, anything that could shake the ground under my feet. And I certainly never imagined that the person who would do exactly that would be a woman. For years after my divorce, I convinced myself I was done with the vulnerability of relationships. My ex-husband and I ended things quietly, almost politely, like people accepting a truth they had known for too long. There had been no drama, no betrayal, just a long, slow drifting apart. After that, I closed my heart carefully and deliberately, like shutting a door against a storm. I had Evan to raise, bills to pay, a life to maintain. I told myself I didn't need anything more. Everything changed on an ordinary afternoon, in an ordinary parking lot, during an ordinary school pickup. That was the day Rowan Hale walked into my life without warning. She appeared the way sunlight appears through the clouds on a day when you're not expecting brightness. Calm, warm, self-assured. Something in her presence reached toward me, before she even spoke. And when she did, my name, just my name, sounded different in her voice. Softer, personal, as if she had already decided that I mattered. I didn't notice the ring on her finger that day. Or maybe I did, but my heart dismissed it before my mind could catch up. I told myself mothers make friends all the time. I told myself she was just friendly, just kind, just someone whose smile was naturally warm. I told myself anything except the truth I didn't want to name, because the truth felt impossible. She was married. She had a husband, a home, a life already built. And still, something in the way she looked at me felt like an unopened door. We kept encountering each other in ways that felt random at first, but not after a while. She always found her way to me, after practice, in the grocery store, at events. She moved toward me like someone who had already made a silent decision. I tried to ignore how my chest warmed each time she came near. I tried to ignore the flutter deep inside me whenever she leaned close. I tried to ignore the way she said my name like it was a secret she enjoyed keeping. But attraction has a way of exposing itself, even if you pretend you don't see it. The first time I noticed the tension between us was at the school festival. There was a chill in the air, the kind that settles into your fingers and makes your breath fog. Rowan found me in the crowd, as if she had been scanning for me since she arrived. She held two steaming cups and pressed one into my hands with a familiarity that felt like we had been sharing warmth for years. Her fingers brushed mine, slow enough to be intentional, brief enough to deny intention if questioned. We shared a blanket. We leaned into each other. We whispered jokes only we could hear. And something inside me opened, quietly, uncertainly, but undeniably. I had never felt that way about a woman. Not a flutter, not a curiosity, not a moment of confusion. But with Rowan, it was as if my heart had been waiting for a language it had never heard before. I didn't know how to process it. I didn't know if she felt the same. I didn't know if I was imagining everything. And then she invited me and Evan over for a cookout. Her backyard smelled like pine and charcoal and something warm that felt like belonging. The boys disappeared the moment food hit their plates, and Rowan kept refilling my glass as though she wanted my senses softened, open, unguarded. We talked until the sun dipped low, and the porch lights glowed faintly around us. Our knees brushed every time the swing moved. Neither of us shifted away. And that was when the truth rose between us, not spoken, not confessed, but undeniable. The guilt hit me before anything else. She was married. I should have stood up. I should have pulled away. I should have reminded myself of boundaries, respect, consequences. Instead, I slid closer until our legs touched. A single gesture, a single breath, a single risk. She froze. Then she left. That moment stretched into an eternity, my pulse racing, my face burning with regret, my thoughts spiraling through everything I should have done differently. I whispered apologies to the empty backyard, telling myself I had ruined a beautiful friendship. But then she returned. Her hair was damp, her expression unreadable, her breath unsteady. She stood in front of me with a vulnerability I had never seen in her, a softness that felt like confession, a longing she could no longer swallow. She whispered my name, and everything inside me unraveled. She kissed me like someone who had run out of ways to pretend. That night didn't change just us, it changed our lives, our choices, our futures. It opened a door neither of us knew how to close. The guilt remained. Infidelity is rarely clean or justified or easy to explain. Rowan tried to distance herself from her husband gently, slowly, carefully. Their marriage had been quiet for years, held together more by habit than passion. But endings, no matter how overdue, are always messy. While she figured out her path, I became her secret, One she kept not out of shame, but out of confusion. She wasn't ready to tell the world she had fallen in love with a woman, and she wasn't ready to end a marriage she had spent years trying to salvage. We lived in that in-between space for months, a space filled with whispered truths, stolen moments, shared meals, and quiet nights that felt more real than anything either of us had known before. I learned what it felt like to love without planning it, without expecting it, without understanding it. Rowan eventually left her husband, not because of me, she said, but because she had been gone long before she met me. I never asked for credit. I never wanted to be the reason a family broke apart. I only wanted her happiness. And she wanted a life built on honesty, not secrecy. We sold our homes and moved into houses side by side. Our boys grew without ever suspecting that the closeness between their mothers was anything more than friendship. Maybe it wasn't the most courageous choice, but it was the gentlest. And as the years settled around us, our love settled too, comfortable, steady, fearless in quiet ways. Now I am 43, recording this narration with Rowan asleep beside me, her hand resting on my waist, her breath warm against my back. This life, our life, still feels unbelievable sometimes. I never expected to love again. I never expected to fall for a woman. I never expected to break rules I once held firm. And yet, here I am, loved in a way I once thought was meant only for other people. Infidelity is complicated. It leaves marks. It rewrites stories. It changes people. But sometimes, it is simply the moment someone stops lying to themselves about what their heart has been starving for. Rowan says my name like a promise. And for now, until the day we decide the world is ready, we live in our quiet morning texts, our hidden nighttime footsteps across porches, our shared glances across the soccer field, and the soft, steady truth that the woman I love sleeps right next to me. This is home, a flawed home, a brave home, a forbidden home, but ours.